The movie begins as we see a group of poachers sneaking up on a pride of lions and shooting them just to realize that one of them had escaped. The poachers start looking for it and soon get attacked and killed by it. Nate wakes up from a dream on a plane, and through a conversation with the pilot, we learn that the man had already been to South Africa but a long time ago. The man is accompanied by his two daughters, Mare and Nora, as they came to spend their vacation in a reserve. The plane soon lands and the girls immediately start complaining about the heat while Nate tries to hype them up. Soon Nate meets with his old friend Martin, who hasn't seen the girls since they were little. The man who works for the reserve takes them with his car to what used to be their dead mother's village. Martin, who was their mother's childhood friend, was the one who introduced the woman to Nate. After reaching Martin's place, the girls are shocked to learn that there is no Wi-Fi and no signal. Mare is then amazed to see photos taken by her dead mother and a picture of her mom when she was pregnant with her. Later we notice the strained relationship between Nate and Mare, who is acting cold toward him. Later the girl, who like her mother has taken on photography, criticizes her dad for never showing interest in her hobby. Then she goes on accusing him of leaving their mother when she got sick. Nate says that he and their mother agreed to separate before she got sick. Their conversation pushes Nora to leave the table and Mare goes after her. Later Nate gets drunk and shares how his relationship with his daughters is slowly crumbling and how he feels guilty for not noticing that his wife had cancer. Morning comes and they all get in the car to go for a safari around the reserve. After driving for a while and witnessing many wild animals, they reach their destination, an abandoned school isolated within a valley. There, they meet with Banji, who tracks a pride of lions named the Nandi Pride within the reserve. Martin, who goes on playing with the lions, sees that something was wrong with one of the lionesses. The man thinks it's a bullet wound. Banji says that it's probably poachers. Martin then decides to go to a nearby village to try to learn about what happened. On the road, they missed a bloody car swarmed by vultures. Soon they reached the village that belonged to the tribe of Tsonga, from which their mother came. The village was deserted, and in one of the huts, Martin and Nate discovered dead bodies with wounds that seemed to be caused by a lion. Martin fears that the beast is still around, so he tells Nate to get the girls, while he goes on to grab his gun. Nate finds Mare, but Nora was missing. They search around for her until they hear her scream. Nate then finds his daughter crying and shaking in fear after she found the dead body of a villager and the corpse of a dead cow, both butchered by the animal. They immediately leave the village. Martin then tries to call for help, but the radio couldn't work. Suddenly a man appears on the road asking for help. Martin and Nate go to check on him. Martin then explains that he and some other men had tried to hunt the beast, but it killed them, including his brother. The two hear a growling and Martin goes on to check, armed with his gun. Nate then grabs the medkit to help the wounded man, but when he got back to him, he found him dead. Martin then keeps searching and comes across a track in the mud nearby a river. That's when he hears a growling. The man then walks into the river, scanning the surroundings until he hears a growling from behind him. A gunshot is heard and Nate calls for Martin as he walks deeper into the grass. Soon he hears a growling and immediately runs back to the car, followed closely by the lion that smacks into the car as Nate jumps inside. The lion circles around the car looking for an entrance and ends up grabbing Nate's leg. The man struggles and tells Mare to drive the car. The girl then hits the gas and the man is free from the lion's grasp, but the car soon crashes. After checking on his daughters and calming them down as they think about a way out of their situation, they hear Martin's voice through a walkie-talkie. The man, who was still alive, was bitten in the leg and is about to pass out. Nate, who's a doctor, gives him instruction to stop the bleeding by heating a knife and burning the wound. The man then screams with pain and Nate could hear his voice nearby. Nate, who wants to go get him, is told that he is being watched by the lion and probably used as a bait. Mare reminds her father about the tranquilizing gun. The girl who watched Banji using it before helps her dad assemble the gun. Then after telling Martin he was coming for him, Nate gets out through the sunroof and gets on the top of the car looking around for the lion. Martin gives gives them an indication of his location, and Mare steps out of the car saying that she will go help the man, and while Nate tries to stop her, the lion appears. Nate misses a shot and is attacked by the beast that throws him down to the ground. Nate then quickly gets underneath the car while furiously attacked by the lion. The creature keeps running around trying to get to him. Nate waits for a moment where the lion walks away, then grabs the empty gun. He uses the gun to fight off the beast, hitting it on the head. Meanwhile, inside the car, Nora grabs the tranquilizing dart and stabs the lion with it. The creature roars and tries to remove it before it walks away, allowing Nate to get out and join his daughter. Nate then calls to the walkie-talkie and finds out that Mare had found Martin, and the two were coming back to the car. Once back, they all bunker up inside, and Nate operates on Martin's leg with the help of his daughters, and the man passes out. After finishing up, Nate is shocked to see the lion was already back on its feet. Night comes, and Nate rations out the water while promising his daughter that things will be alright. Mare again starts nagging on how he never keeps his promises, and she is faced by Nora, who had enough of her behavior. The girl then says how she always hoped her parents would go back together. Mare asks forgiveness from Nora, and everyone sits in silence for a while. Martin wakes up and is told about the situation. The man wonders why the lion goes around killing people without eating them. The man blames the strange behavior on the poachers, who caused the lion to see humans as enemies. Nate, who wants to get his girls away, is told by Martin that the best approach is to wait for help. After going to sleep, Nate has a series of dreams where he sees his daughters getting attacked by the lion and then sees his dead wife. When he wakes up, he talks to Mare, telling her that he loved her mother and wanted to get back together, but her sickness took her away from him. The two are interrupted by voices from the radio. Mare uses the car horn, and soon a group of armed men arrives. After telling them about their situation, Nate learns that they were poachers looking for the lion. He offers to pay them in exchange for their help, and they accept. The leader of the poachers opens the car, and after seeing Martin's face, he goes into rage, saying he was an anti-poacher who killed 3 of his men. The poachers hit Nate and drags Nora out of the car. Suddenly the lions attack, and while the poachers fight off the beast, Nate gets his daughter back to safety while he tries to get a working vehicle, but he couldn't find the keys, so he decides to look for the guy who was driving. Nate then starts looking around and searches the poachers dead bodies, and soon sees the yellow shirt poacher he was looking for, but then comes across the lion's path. Mare starts speaking to her dad through the walkie-talkie, attracting the lion to him. Nate then quickly steps on the device, then abandons it and climbs on the top of the tree to avoid the creature. The man, who is almost bitten by a snake, grabs it and throws it on the lion, causing it to run away. The girls, who are worrying about their dad, are approached by a wounded poacher who wants to get inside the car. Meanwhile, Nate does his best to sneak past the creature, but is almost found. Then suddenly the girls start honking the car horn, attracting the beast to them. Nate then gets to the yellow shirt poacher who was dying and gets the keys from him, then heads back. At that time, the lion was back to the car and looks for a way inside until it finds a broken window and attacks Mare through it. Martin fights the beast and yells to the girl to get out. The two leave the car as it falls over the ledge and crashes on the ground. The lion gets up in a daze and goes after Martin, who is drenched in the leaking fuel. The man uses the lighter and blows the car up. Nate hears the explosion and heads back. He finds his daughter and sees that Mare was bitten. He then looks over the ledge and sees the car in flames. Next day, they are on the road. Soon, they pass by the Nandi Pride and reach the abandoned school, and Nate gets his daughter inside. The place turned out to be used by the poachers. Nate then takes care of Mare's wound, and after finishing up, he goes around looking for a way to call for help, not noticing the lion approaching outside. The girls see the burn-scarred creature coming in, and they immediately hide, but eventually it found them. Nate hears Nora screaming and runs to them. He begins shooting at the lion that escapes. Nate then takes the girls to another room with a metallic door. He then asks them to stay there while he fights off the creature, saying it's their only way to survive. The man then goes out armed with a knife, making noise to attract the lion, and runs toward the Nandi Pride location where he stabs and fights for his life against the beast that's mauling him. Nate, who's brutally bitten and clawed, manages to injure the creature and stabs it multiple times, but the man, who is at his limits, tries to escape but fails and is almost killed when the two Nandi male lions intervene and face the rogue lion, biting him from all directions while Nate drags himself away. Soon cars arrive and Nate is glad that help finally arrived. The man passes out and has a dream of him joining his dead wife, but then wakes up in a hospital bed with his daughters at his side. He then learns that Bungie had brought help and that the rogue lion was killed. Later we see Nate and his daughter taking a picture near their mother's favorite tree, and with that we reach the end of the movie. Thank you for watching, hope you liked today's pick. Leave a like and subscribe, and see you guys next time. Bye bye.